Hey everyone, Matt Beamer here. It's Club 1040 live Q&A, questions and answer time. Every month on the first Thursday of the month, we get the opportunity to come and spend a little bit of time with you, get your coffee, get your tea, whatever it is. For some of you, Central Time at 7 a.m. Some of you check in with us all the way on the West Coast. It might be 5 a.m. for you. Others around the world in England and Africa, different places. And so wherever you're at, just get relaxed for the next 30 minutes or so. We get to spend some time with you, giving you the most recent, up-to-date information. That's why we do this, to make sure that you understand how much of an impact you're having through Club 1040 and giving you an opportunity to ask questions, to find out even more. So it's your opportunity to hear prayer requests and kind of hear interviews with some of the different people's lives that are being impacted, as well as those of the team. So in fact, today we're going to have guest Rob Post from the UK. He's going to be sharing about the Farsi Book Project, giving us a great update on that. We've got a lot of updates from graduation month in May. And so a lot of updates from this past May and some different places we visited, and then some prayer points. And of course, as always, Q&A. In fact, before I get into too much further, I wanted to read some of the questions that have been brought in, through social media. There's some great questions, like, for example, how far do students travel to attend Bible college? They asked specifically about Lebanon. There's some that come almost 2.5 hours away, depending on traffic at the time of day. And but in the one that was in Nigeria, in the Hausa one, there were people that would travel up to 12 hours or 14 hours to come to Bible college. In Egypt, there was a testimony from this past graduation where someone had traveled 10 hours to come to campus. So it's amazing the desire, the passion for the Word of God, and just the need that there is that people would travel like that. Let's see. Here's a question. What do you remember most about about serving overseas? I mean, it seems like every single day there's new experiences, but some of the very early days and some of the adventures of the early days when we had no money and you didn't have internet, you didn't have connection, you couldn't go to the ATM machine and get any money in those days. There's some of our most fun stories. Let's see here. There's one here, and who's your favorite child? I don't know who must have asked that one. I suspect it might have been the girl child, Elizabeth Beamer. But so my favorite girl child is absolutely Elizabeth Beamer, and my favorite boy child is absolutely Jonathan Beamer. And who's your favorite grandbaby? It is the new baby Beamer that's on its way. So those are a few questions. There's several others that were asked through social media, and we'll get to some of those later. But first, let's bring in Rob Post. Rob Post, all the way broadcasting from the northern part of the United Kingdom. So Rob, tell us who you are and what you're doing and where you're at.
Thanks for having me, Matt. Well, I'm up in Yorkshire. It's up in northern England. We are pastoring GoChurch Bradford up there, and it's just a gorgeous area of the country. I know you've been up there. It's just really nice. And I have my wife and 3 kids, and we've really enjoyed it. And and then got involved with this project a few years ago, and really excited about this project.
Yeah, you had been involved in the European Book Project some, and so when this opportunity for the Farsi Book Project came up, you were like, "Hey, I think I could be a part of that," and you were available at the time. And I was like, "Please, we need someone to project manage it," and you were so gracious to step in as a volunteer and do that. Tell us, what does that mean? What does it mean to manage the Farsi Book Project?
It's really been like a facilitating kind of project because I don't speak Farsi. And that's one of the first questions I have to answer. I do not speak Farsi. I'm getting to the point, maybe I need to just get a Rosetta Stone or something. But it's been interesting because it's really, we're dealing with people in all different countries and communication. And so it has been a relationship based process because we don't just give a book to anyone to translate. We need to know They know the information. They have a heart for it. They have a passion for it. And the people we work with are really, they're offering their free time. They're doing this because they believe in these books. And that was one thing I kind of learned back, with the European Book Project, and just meeting people when they talked about the Kenneth E. Hagin books or Kenneth W. Hagin books. There's all these stories of how it changed their life and how important these books are. And so it's kind of exciting to be a part of that, but helping this area that is really in need of resources. And Absolutely. So talking to different pastors from, Farsi pastors in different parts of the country, they kind of harp on that. It's like they need training, they need resources. And it's kind of neat to be like, hey, we are going to provide these resources and we're going to provide them for free. So that process has been, it started off a little slow. We started with a Bible study, and I'm hoping these guys can help me out. And they did help me out with a mini book, The Real Faith. And I was excited. Okay, we got one book done. And so it's kind of I had to learn patience with the process because we're working with people's spare time. And then I was thankful because you started connecting me. You'd meet somebody and say, hey, they know someone that might could help with Farsi. They kind of know the message. They kind of understand this. And so it's been cultivating those relationships and taking a little bit of time. Some books were done quickly and some have taken a little bit longer. And also in the process of making connections with other people that have the books.
I know to begin with, we have a set of, about 26 titles that we aim to target. And so We're like, okay, let's see if we can do these 10, phase one. Mm-hmm. And then we started looking around and we found that there were people out there that had translated them even, just because of this passion you talked about, because it's changing, these messages are changing lives. They had translated them kind of unofficially. And so I know we've gathered a number of those books, and that has helped speed things up. But then we have to go through and vet them, review them, check them. And a number of them, we see that they need to be, improved upon or made a little bit more accurate. Tell us about that whole process.
Yeah, all those books we gathered from others. We still had to almost like copy those books to get them in, Word format so they could be formatted for getting ready to print. Not speaking Farsi, when we get them, I'm like, yes, we have a book. And then we have that process of reviewing, not just for grammar, but also reviewing for content. And if anything's kind of highlighted not to be quite right, with some of the translators, they'll be like, I think we just need to redo this whole book, or this book is great and maybe something can change. So that's kind of been the thing, because we don't want to just get these books out quick. I think at first I was thinking, 10 books, we can get that out pretty quick. But the accuracy, the quality matters, because we want these to be accurate and well done. So having different eyes look at it and just having that process of reading it 2, 3, 4 times before we say, hey, this book's done. And so that's been the thing I thought was going to be quicker.
You've connected with people in a lot of different places. So tell like all the different places you've connected with Farsi speakers to help move this project along.
Well, there's some Farsi speaking, and we started up in Manchester with some of the Farsi speaking there. Armenia, Iraq, Canada. We had different people in Canada. I met some people through a Farsi church in Greece that were wanting to help. Everywhere I've been or talked to, people want to help and want to get involved. I'm trying to think who else. Even U.S. I talked to somebody that was from Iran that's in U.S. that wanted to help. So they're kind of all over. It's really spread out, different time zones, and a lot, Zoom meeting, just kind of get on the same page, talk, see where people are. So it's a lot of just follow up. Once I've kind of handed a book off and trusted someone with a book, we either email or just kind of FaceTime just to see how things are going and where we are in the process. And when we start getting these books done, we also need cover art. And that was another challenge, like what graphic artist do we know that speaks Farsi? And thankfully, we finally found someone that would do that and volunteer their time to do that. And So that's been great. So that's been a new thing, is gathering not just the books, but also the cover pages to have done for these books.
Awesome. And so tell us, what kind of progress have you made so far? We aimed at those first 10 titles. So where are we up to now?
So we aimed at, the phase one was 10 titles, phase two, 16 titles, through gathering books from other people and through the books that we've translated. I counted, we had 33 books in total.
That's awesome.
No, we don't have a contract on all 33 of those books. And we're not right now in the process of releasing all those books. Some of them need to be reviewed still. So I have 3 books out right now being translated. Once those books are back, we're left with 7 books left on our contract.
Of the original 26.
Oh, yeah, of the original 26, we have 7 left.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so but some of those books are like Triumphant Church, Love, The Way to Victory. Some of them are a little bit bigger books, and the workbooks. And people want those workbooks. Like, one of the translators, like, why don't we do these books? I'm like, we're doing them as we go along. So there are people interested and want to get these books done. So
that's awesome. And so everybody knows that we do Bible colleges as well, and those books really help provide. It's kind of like, these things need to happen first. A lot of times books go into places that people can't go. People can read books in the privacy of their own home and in secret and things like that. And people, they get passed from one person to another, and they start sowing seed into the hearts of people before eventually there can become a Bible college. And then in the Bible college, a lot of times you need the resources, the instruction books to be able to use when teaching and training to complement the teaching in the school. So that's hugely helpful. I do want to mention one of the ways, in addition to printing the books, which can be a challenge getting books across borders and things like that, but it's something that we do want to do, and there have been some books printed. One of the things we also are going to be doing is making these books available online for free. And the website that we have for that is rhemaconnect.com. And it is coming really close to being finished. And then I think you've even started to upload some of the titles as they're approved onto there, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah. I had a link a while back, and we were uploading. And so right now I'm getting the covers of those titles to be uploaded on that website. But yeah, we're excited about that. I've been telling people about Rhema Connect, so they're excited to.
And then people, like 70% of the world don't read. They're not reading literate. So how do we get around that?
Audiobooks. We are working on that. That's part of this project. Isn't just producing them in PDF form or to hand them out or distribute. It's also going to be audiobook, and we've had one done so far. It's that's part of the slower part of the progress and making contacts with audiobooks. We have a few people interested in helping with doing that, and so that is part of the plan too. It's not just having these books in PDF form that people can access, but also being able to access it through audiobooks.
So a number of people way back at the beginning of the Farsi Book Project, when we did this, raise support for this, people adopted books, and then those adoptions, because people are volunteering and helping, it's not only going to help with with printing books, like we said originally, with the translation, the editing, the proofing, getting the cover art, and translating at least 1,000 or printing at least 1,000 copies, which you already did print some copies. I remember in Turkey you had copies, didn't you?
Yeah, we printed about 500 per book, 1,500 copies. We did 3 books to distribute in Turkey.
Awesome. And so, but in addition to that, some of those resources that were given originally are still in hand to be able to use for audio recordings and things like that, as we need to do that. So the original adoption, because you've really leveraged the volunteerism within the team, has been able to spread out that original budget so that we can invest in that audio recording and then also helping with the development of that website to make things freely available to everybody. So tell us about what you're doing in August in the UK. It's pretty exciting.
Oh yeah, we're doing a European Ministers Conference. It was really something on my wife and I's heart after being in Turkey and just connecting with a lot of the European guys, and knowing that we weren't going to be in Turkey again this year. We were like, well, why don't we see who's interested in what about we do this in England. So we're helping host a conference up in Harrogate, England. It's just a pretty little conference town up in North Yorkshire, just a really nice place. And we talked to a few pastors and some friends and see if they're interested in helping. And everybody's just really sowing their time and sowing different areas to help with children's and youth and worship. And everybody's kind of coming together and just having this place to worship and really feed into families. That was one of the things that we were really passionate about, is not just ministering to the adults, but ministering to the kids, ministering to the youth. And I think it's going to be a good time. And it's a little family town. Everybody's going to be kind of close together. It's a gorgeous town. Really enjoy Yorkshire, just so pretty. And so we're excited about that. It's August 5th through 8th. And
space left if people wanted to.
There is some space left
for ministers and their family, right?
Yeah, that was the goal. Just kind of refresh. People have fun. And England's a pretty place and fun place to visit, and then really it's very accessible for people in Europe.
Yeah,
and
during the summertime in August, it's just gorgeous there. So, the website for people to find out more about it.
Yeah, it's euroministersconference.com.
Thank you so much, Robert. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me,
Leah and the kids.
Thank you.
All right. Blessings. Okay, so I've got a couple other things I just wanted to talk about before we finish up here, just about 3 minutes. I wanted to mention, like I said at the beginning, this May is graduation month, and I had the privilege of being the graduation speaker for Kenneth Hagin's Raymond Bible Training College's 50th anniversary. And what a joy that was. If you haven't heard that message, you can go online and hear it. But not only was it a privilege to be the speaker, which I was honestly a little bit shocked that they asked me. I think there's people who were in the original class that could have done it, but they did ask us, and it's such an honor, such a privilege. And we also, it was a privilege because Elizabeth and a number of our Club 1040 team members were also graduating that same night. Elizabeth, Madison, and a number of others. There's also this month we had Caleb and some of the others within the team. He graduated with his master's. As you guys know, if you're in America, this is graduation month, but not just in the U.S., because also right after that, being in Tulsa for that, then Julie and I were in Egypt for the first. No, I shouldn't say the first. I think it's the third graduation for Rainbow Bible Training College in Egypt. And it was a joy there. You can see Rick Martin is there, the one that's kind of in the dark suit there with the white shirt. He was the national director that helped to lead a lot of these students through to the place of where they're ready to graduate. And there were 62 people. The white are the ones that are completing the first level. The gold are the ones that completed the second level there. And Julie and I had been there in May, worked with the team development, and then the graduation there just this past June 3rd. And the thing about the schools that are there is things are now at this point of they've transitioned to new leadership, and things are about ready to go to a whole nother level. Kind of a refit, a revision, and a relaunch. So I'm saying that from a prayer request standpoint, be praying into that. And then in addition to being there in Egypt, also we had several security sensitive country things happen over the month of May. One was we were on the ground in one of the countries for 4 days, met with several really strategic contacts, from government contacts through to church leader contacts. And then in the States, as we start to build teams for some of these security sensitive countries, we had one particular summit where it was by invite only, and there's no recordings or pictures or anything, but we had 70 people in attendance to that. There was prayer strategy, and we have then follow-ups where we're looking at team building for that. We have another extended visit planned for the month of August to a particular security sensitive country that will include language learning and stuff like that. So we can't always share pictures and things like that where we are and what we're doing, but know that we are operational on your behalf. And if you ever have any questions and we're able to talk in person, we'd love to be able to communicate with you more about that. So any specific questions that came in while we were talking? Otherwise, I think, let's see here. There was one I thought that I would mention. Let's see, where is that one? Here's a question. Can you speak other languages? I can get myself in trouble in several different languages, but I feel like I can't speak any language, even English, all that well. So yeah, no, not really. And, like Rob was mentioning, the ability to work through people who have the national language and have credibility and character is vital. And there really is, from a prayer standpoint, it's, as we expand across the region, one of the key things is people that know the language and, know English, but then also know the language, that to have the right hearts, the right character that we can work with. So thank you so much for everything you're doing. Thank you for praying for us. God bless you. And if you ever have any questions, make sure you follow on social media and you're getting the emails. But if you ever have any questions, you don't have to wait till this live Q&A. You can always ask questions, but this is our special time with you. Thanks so much. God bless.